So, I've filmed this before, but the audio wasn't playing, so take two. So anyway, I just wanted to update you guys about everything that I was doing. Had a lot of thoughts in my head over the last couple of days. Having moved here, obviously, if any of you are from the previous channel, you would have seen a lot of the moving content through there and know that I'm in a different apartment now. I'm actually further away from my home country this time around than I was before. And I've not been living in my home country since the beginning of last year, which I know isn't like a long time in terms of like how much some people have lived in different places, but when you're living there by yourself, you don't really know anybody. Your work is essentially here, as opposed to like a maybe more traditional 9 to 5 when you're in a different building, you're interacting with different people, socializing with other people. Like the only place that I have to do that is in the gym. And even then, the majority of people are there to train rather than like chat, of course, obviously. So it's been making me think a lot recently about what I want to do moving forward. Now, obviously, I'm in a contract until next year in terms of living here, and a few other year contracts with like Wi-Fi and the gym. So, I mean, I could up and go already, but then that would be a lot of money wasted, which I don't want to do. And I do want to make the most of being here while I'm here. Um, Another thing, obviously, I am single, so that can make it difficult as well. Because when you're in a new place and you are really by yourself, like I don't have a roommate, I'm not dating anybody, it's just me, that can make things, it can intensify things, it can make things a lot more like apparent. So, all these things going through my head, when I do visit back home, which takes me longer to get to now, it's it's refreshing, you know. It's refreshing. I walk around and I'm like, I have that familiarity. I've got family around, I've got friends around. And here, obviously I know Connor and I've met one or two other people in the gym, but that's it, really. And obviously they've got their own things going on. A lot of them have families, so they have other commitments. Um, and I've already spoken to like Connor in terms of moving forward with everything if I moved back to Wales, and we've already decided like if that does happen how we would work about producing more content. So that's fine, that's still something that's going to happen, and obviously like I said, I'm still here for the year until the beginning of next year, so there will be plenty of content between me and him, and being here in general. But it's just been on my mind a lot, and it's it's been difficult because I wanted to move to try and get a different experience of being in a different place. It's not the first time I've moved out of Wales, but this is definitely the longest time. And when I was at the beginning of the year of this year, obviously there was a possibility that I was going to move back, um, back in March. And I was so determined that I wanted to go to a bodybuilder gym, a proper bodybuilder gym. Obviously, I do feel like they sort of oversold it a little bit before I signed up, but I suppose they always do, don't they? They hide the cracks until afterwards. Um, and that's just kind of where I'm at right now in terms of everything. Like, it's cheaper in Wales. It's obviously the familiarity, the family, the friends, and everything. It's my home country. Um, it is fresher. The water's nicer too. Just saying, just throwing it out there. It's a lot cheaper. My God, like I'm not even living in the center of London, and I feel like I'm paying London prices for what I've got, especially the council tax. Jesus, that's so expensive. And actually, it's cheaper in the center of Cardiff, which is the capital, Wales. So again, in terms of money, saving a lot by moving back if I did move back. And I think like another thing I wanted to see, obviously the bodybuilding side of things, and I wanted to see like, is it different in terms of dating? Are the guys different? Is it like a different mentality? And I have to say, honestly, no, it's not. I've met up with a few people since I've moved here, and I think a lot of people, and I always get this kind of comment a lot, which is frustrating because obviously it's not the case. A lot of people assume that, oh, well, yeah, but the way you look, obviously everybody loves you and they want to be with you. And that's obviously why, as a 30-year-old man, I am single, and I've been single for quite a few years, because everybody just is dying to have me. And actually, like, that's the thing is, especially around here, uh, there are definitely a lot more people. There's a lot more people who I haven't met, but when we do meet, it just seems very much like they're always waiting on the next best thing. And I think that's the difference between being back in Cardiff and being here, is that Cardiff is such a condensed area in terms of like the population of gay men, and it doesn't really have that flow of people. So, if you've seen people within the first week, then you'll be seeing them in 5 years' time. It doesn't really change. Whereas obviously around here, there's a lot more of a flow of people coming through. But what I've learned is, yes, that does mean that you interact with different people. It also means that the mentality is different, and because there's so many different people coming in and out so regularly, then the attitude in terms of dating is different too. And people are always looking for, like I said, the next best thing. Even when people do get in a relationship, it's kind of like it's more like a place marker, someone who you can wake up with in the morning and still have the freedom to have sex with other people if somebody turns up and they're hot. I mean, I can't count how many times I've been chatted up by guys in open relationships. They've just got a boyfriend, or they're dating, or it's a marriage or whatever, and they're hitting up with me, and I'm just like, but you're in a relationship, so why are you flirting with me? you know and it's not nice. I'm not one of those people. I prefer monogamy. I prefer building something up with somebody, but obviously that doesn't seem to be so much of the mentality here. And I'm pretty dead set on relocating back to Wales after this year. I'm actually supposed to be going back down in 2 weeks just for a couple of days to visit, and I think in a positive and a negative way, that's a good thing because I've got it in my head that I'm going back, so it feels like everything's dragging on until I get there. But it will be nice to go back and spend a couple of days there, and then obviously it'll be focusing on the show, which is going to be great, and it'll be fun to do it in a bodybuilder gym. But like I said, I'm still kind of on the outskirts of the gym, in terms of like people knowing me and having seen me, and I don't know. You can only try so often to approach people and say, "Hey, how's it going?" And I mean, in that gym, obviously sometimes I've done it. We've had full on conversations. I've got to know people. Other times I've done it, believe it or not, I've had people who really couldn't give a shit, who are just like, just trying to end the conversation or not even like start a conversation at all, with me. And it can be a bit of a mixed bag. And, you do get to a point with that. Same thing with dating, where you just become a bit fed up and a bit jaded, and you don't really want to have to start from scratch every single time you have a conversation. You don't want to be like, okay, let me like go through and introduce myself and where I'm from and what I do and all this stuff and how old I am and da 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 da. Da. Every single time, like, it gets exhausting. And I think that's kind of the positive and the negative difference between where I'm from and where I'm at. Um, and that's kind of just been my opinion. And actually, this video is longer than the original video, and I didn't realize until I just looked at the time. So I'm gonna end it here because I pretty much said everything that I wanted to say. And yeah, there'll be more content coming. And that's it. So hope you guys are enjoying the new channel. Hope you guys are subscribed, liking, sharing, doing all that. And I will see you guys soon. Bye, guys.